Welcome! Today we are diving deep into one of the most important philosophical books ever written, the Bhagavad Gita. And we're going after a secret that's kind of hidden in plain sight, a final piece of advice that changes how you see the entire thing. I mean, think about that for a second. It sounds like a total paradox, doesn't it? A complete contradiction. But this exact question, this puzzle, is right at the heart of the Gita's most profound teaching. It's a real challenge to everything we think we know about what we're supposed to do with our lives. So to get this, we have to go back in time, to the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And that's where we meet our hero, Arjuna. He's a legendary warrior, but he's facing the most gut-wrenching choice you can imagine. He's literally about to go to war against his own family. Yeah, Arjuna is completely falling apart. He looks across the battlefield and sees his cousins, his uncles, his old teachers, all ready to fight him to the death. The very thought of it just paralyzes him with grief. His famous bow, the Gandiva, actually just slips right out of his hands. He can't do it. Now, this isn't just him being emotional. This is a massive ethical crisis. See, Arjuna has a duty as a warrior, a kshatriya, to fight for what's right. But he also has a sacred duty to his family, to his elders. This clash of responsibilities, that's what's called a conflict of dharma. And to really understand the advice his guide Krishna is about to give him, we have to wrap our heads around a really key concept. In this way of seeing the world, not all duties are created equal. The Gita tells us there are actually two fundamental kinds of dharma. So, what is dharma? Well, at its core, it just means what's appropriate for us. It's our purpose, our role in the world, our responsibilities. But here's the big question. Appropriate for which part of us? Our body or something deeper? And this is where it gets super interesting. The Gita splits our duties into two buckets. On one side, you've got material dharma. This is all based on our physical life, our job, our duties as a parent, a citizen, or in Arjuna's case, a warrior. But then on the other side, there's spiritual dharma. This connects to who we really are, the soul. And from that point of view, the soul has only one duty, its eternal loving connection to God. So for 17 long chapters, Krishna guides Arjuna down this path called Karma Yoga. And the message seems pretty clear. You've got to integrate the two. Fulfill your material duty. Hey, you've got to fight this war, but do it without being attached to the outcome. Do it as an offering and keep your mind focused on the divine. It seems like that's the main takeaway, right? But just when Arjuna and, all of us reading along, thinks we finally have the answer, Krishna drops a bombshell, a final instruction that seems to flip everything he just spent 17 chapters explaining completely on its head. Abandon all varieties of dharmas. Whoa, let that sink in for a second. After all that careful teaching about how to do your duty, Krishna's ultimate, most confidential secret is to abandon them all. Just surrender. And that's the question that really unlocks the whole text, isn't it? Is this a contradiction? Why would Krishna spend all that time explaining the importance of duty, only to say, actually, just forget all that at the very end? What's going on here? Well, the answer is, it's not a contradiction. It's an elevation. It's like Krishna is finally revealing that one of these dharmas is way, way more important than the other. This isn't about running away from your responsibilities. It's about embracing the ultimate responsibility. So we're seeing a shift here from Karma Yoga, which is acting with devotion, to something called Karma Sannyas, basically renouncing worldly action for devotion. See, normally just ditching your responsibilities would be a bad thing, a sin. But abandoning your material duties in order to fully embrace your higher spiritual duty, that's seen as the highest perfection.
And there's this brilliant analogy to explain this. Imagine trying to keep a giant tree alive by watering every single leaf, one by one. It would be impossible, right? You'd be running around like crazy and the tree would still die. But what if you just watered the root? If you water the root, the entire tree, every single branch and leaf gets nourished automatically.
And that's the big secret. Surrendering to our one spiritual dharma isn't a selfish act. It's actually the most powerful and efficient way to take care of all our other duties, to our family, our society, to the whole world. Because by watering the root, we're nourishing the very source of our existence. But, this is easier said than done. This isn't just some intellectual idea you can agree with. To actually live this kind of surrender requires a huge internal shift, a journey from a restless and steady heart to one that's totally anchored. And that journey starts by recognizing what the texts call unsteady devotion, and the symptoms are pretty relatable. You've got viksepa, that's when your mind just wanders off to worldly stuff during your practice. Or kasaya, where you find yourself still getting caught up in things like pride or anger. These are the internal hurdles we all face on the path to real surrender. So the whole point is to get to this place called nisthita bhakti, which just means steady, unshakable devotion. This is where all those symptoms of unsteadiness just fade away. Your heart, unlike Arjuna's on that chaotic battlefield, becomes this reliable, solid anchor for your whole being. That's the real practical result of living the Gita's final secret. And that kind of leaves us with a big question for our own lives, doesn't it? In this modern world that pulls us in a million different directions, demanding we water every single leaf, what is the one root for you? What is that one central thing that, if you took care of it, would automatically nourish